Yeah, hey, Kamik, welcome. Yeah, amazing with the disclosure and all that. You saw my video, didn't you? You commented, yeah. 2026 truly is the year of disclosure. So we're going to drop straight into the channeling state. We can have a bit of a chat about disclosure and things when I come out of the channeling state after an hour or so. So welcome everyone to the live stream channeling. Super chats get priority answer, so you can ask anything you want, and I'm going to drop into the channeling state, and I shall see you all in another now. Peace. I never know when to put where to put my face when I'm doing it on the screen. Should you have your face in the middle when you're doing it in portrait on a phone like this, or should you have your face closer to the top, or here, or there? Oh well. I'll see you guys soon. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can drop them now before the super chats flood everything out. I'll try and answer maybe one question at the start before the super chats if they come. If you can hit the like button, it helps it get it boosted. Can you give me some more clarity on, because I don't know who Yashna Al-Sin is, and because what happens is I read the messages and then telepathically communicate. They receive it through me, but if I don't know who Yashna Al-Sin is, it's Yashna Al-Slin. It's difficult for me to communicate to them who it is. They do seem to be able to tune in energetically sometimes, but the more information you give me about who Yashna Al-Sin is, what you know about him, the more likely they're going to make a solid connection to whoever you're talking about. Thank you. Just take me a couple of minutes to get into the channeling state. Hey everyone, thank you for joining the channeling. It's just gonna take me 1 or 2 minutes to get into the channeling state. You can check out my website, jonathantrinity.com. I've got a one-to-one coaching program. You can find it on the website. There should be a link in the description box. 12 and 36 week coaching program, and you can book a free call with me if you're interested in the coaching program. At the bottom of the page on my website, jonathantrinity.com. I'll see you soon. Bye bye. I'm still here. I'm still here. I was just saying me bye-bye. We're not leaving. It's just me that's going. Don't worry. We're not ending the channeling. I think people logged out because they thought we were ending because I told you to go to my website and then I said, bye, I'll see you later. But I didn't mean that we were ending the call. Went down from 20 people to 9 people. I mean, I'm going so we can drop into the channeling. Must remember not to say that again. I'm still here, sort of. We are now beginning. This is the beginning of the channeling. I'm going into the channeling state. Must rephrase that. All right, so they'll be coming through in a minute. So super chats get priority answer. I'll try and answer 1 or 2 normal questions first if the super chats come in.
Hello, welcome YouTube, welcome live streamers, good day. We are welcoming you here. We are glad to be with you this day of your time. How are you all? All right, very good. So we would like to share a quick message with regards to our excitement with the message from your president. It is not just perhaps 1 or 2 live streams ago that we mentioned that we sensed that your President Trump would be the disclosure president, and he appears at this time to be holding to that prediction. So there is much excitement regardless of the outcome of whether the agencies on your planet fully disclose everything they know about us, about extraterrestrial life, about interdimensional portals, interdimensional life form, the Zeta Reticuli, the Pleiadians, the Yahyel, the Shakani, the Orion beings, the Lyrians, the Syrians, Octorans, Andromedans, etc., 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 the members of our alliance, regardless whether or not the aliens. All right, no, we mean the humans. Of course, the humans are a little bit alien to us, yes. But regardless of whether or not, and we do not wish to make fun of your agencies by calling them aliens, but their nature is somewhat alien to us. We could call them the alien agencies, the AA. And so, regardless of whether or not the agencies fully come forth with all the information your president has requested them to do so with, there is much excitement in our alliance, in our Galactic Federation, if you wish to call it that, in our group of civilizations, of interdimensional entities that are here to assist humanity through its spiritual shift, through its spiritual awakening, through the awakening into a new timeline, into a new reality, into a new fourth density state of being, a state of being heart aligned, connected with your higher minds, your soul purpose, your God self, your divine essence. So this is the shift you're going through. This is the shift we are going through with you, for we expanding consciousness, we are raising our frequency, we are ascending into higher dimensions of reality within our consciousness, as you are ascending to higher dimensions of reality within your consciousness, within your collective mind, your collective dream, this collective eternal journey through time and space, as you term it, although it's really just a dream existing within your consciousness. And so our alliance, this group of civilizations we referred to previously, are here to assist you through this shift. And as we say, regardless of whether all the agencies in your world, all the organizations, all the military personnel come good to the request from your president to fully disclose all information, it is a big step forward, for just by the president, and not only the president, but your previous President Obama stating that he knows that aliens are real, just by this information coming out into your civilization, it has created shockwaves, it has created a reverberation, it has created a ripple effect through your society, where more and more people are beginning to wake up to the realization that you are not alone, that we are here. And so this is a big step forward in your society, and there is much excitement aboard our ships, there is much excitement within our alliance at this time. For this gives us an opportunity to begin to interact with your civilization more and more. Daily, nightly, we can come in our ships. So this is a significant point. There are many of you in your world, I'm sure many of you following this transmission, that have been working to get the message out to your society that you are not alone, that we are here. And so it is a momentous day. While it might not quite be Disclosure Day yet, it is coming with humans, and there will be more ripples across the timeline throughout the rest of this year. More information will be coming forward, and there will be more and more opportunity. In a sense, we are waiting for the collective core from your civilization. It has to get to the point where the majority of the beings on your world want contact with us, want contact with interdimensional extraterrestrial beings before we are able to step forth and assist you on a more hands-on level, sharing our technologies with you, sharing our anti-pollution technologies, sharing our knowledge of advanced energy technology, advanced propulsion technology, advanced medical healing technology. We will be able to do this more and more. Now the gates are opening. Now the calls are coming from more beings. So use this opportunity to spread the word while there is buzz happening in your reality, while the energetic momentum of the idea of disclosure, of the idea of us being here is in the collective mind. We suggest you take this opportunity to share this message far and wide to the best of your ability, for it will accelerate the timeline of open contact moving through the end of 2026 and into 2027 and beyond. So at this time, we will take questions and answers. All right? So I said I'd answer one or two non-super chats before we get to the super chats. So I'll do the first two questions. So, hi my friends, can you please tell me how I ground the Nexus portal with Yashna al-Sin? Who is he? What is my connection with him? So the idea is that regardless of who exactly he is, who exactly Yashna al-Sin is, or Yashna al-Sin, and the idea of accessing his energy through a specific portal, Nexus portal, the idea is that any being, any guide, any mentor, whether physical or interdimensional, or in the spirit realm, the idea is that to access this being, this entity, you must become more of yourself. For all your guides, all your extraterrestrial counterparts, all your physical companions, soul, family on the planet will resonate to you when you are being more of yourself. It was the previous transmission when where we touched upon the idea of becoming more of yourself, of learning to recognize your core signature vibration, your frequency essence, your vibrational essence, your soul essence. The idea that on a soul level, on an energetic level, you have a specific frequency, a specific resonance that is keyed to the frequency of your soul, that is keyed to the frequency of your higher mind, and is keyed to the frequency of the truth of your being. And the idea is that when you learn to key yourself to this vibration, when you learn to key yourself to this frequency, you will open up more of yourself. You will open up more access to your soul, more access to your oversoul. Through keying yourself to what we would term your core signature vibration, that you can learn to resonate more towards through following your excitement, following your joy, following your bliss, following any of the positive energies, and learning to recognize what your resonance feels like when you are uplifted, when you are enlightened, when you are in the flow, when you are being creative, when you are inspired and in joy and bliss and serene states of peace. You will notice you have a specific energy, a specific frequency. So it may be similar to the frequency we share at this time, or it may be completely different. And the idea is when you learn to access this frequency, you are becoming more of yourself. You are connecting into your soul essence, your spiritual essence, the spiritual center of your core essential self. And from this vibrational state, you will find it easier to access downloads from past and future lives, from extraterrestrial counterparts, from spiritual guides, from mentors in the spirit realm, from past life. And also you will create a resonance that will attract your soul family, are the members of your oversoul on earth. So the idea is that when you are resonating in your core signature vibration, the more you are able to stabilize in your frequency essence, your soul essence, this vibrational state we are talking of, through following your excitement, your passion and joy, through assessing any negative beliefs that come up when you are following your excitement, redefining them in a positive way, letting go of them wherever you can. This will create more and more of a stabilization in your soul frequency, your divine essence, the essence of your being, and you will be able to more and more connect in telepathically, telempathically, psychically, through meditation, through visualization, through channeling, and through psychic phenomena, through clairvoyance, through auditory downloads. You will more and more be able to connect in to guides, extraterrestrial counterparts existing in other dimensions, as well as resonating on a frequency that will naturally attract to you and attract you to beings, soul family, mentors in the physical plane, which of course are not really in the physical plane. It's just all within your consciousness. So in a sense, there is no difference between being able to psychically connect with a spirit guide due to being in the right vibrational frequency and attracting a soul family, physical human into your reality through synchronicity, through resonating on the correct frequency. It may seem a little different in your reality, in your dream, but it's essentially the same thing. The idea is that when you are resonating on the correct frequency, when you're learning to tune yourself to your core signature essence, your core signature vibration, the correct frequency of who you are and what you came here to be, you will naturally attract all those guides, all those mentors, all those beings to you that are relevant for you to progress forward, including, in this case, the being you refer to as Yashna al-Sin through the Nexus portal. In a sense, the way to access the Nexus portal, as you term it, is to tune to your core signature vibration. We hope this helps. So I'm just going to answer one more non-super chat question before we get to the super chats. I did promise I would. Could you please ask Yahyel what are the most prevalent similarities and differences between Yahyel humans and Earth humans, emotionally, socially? Well, the primary difference is we are connected to our soul, to our higher self all the time. We exist in a kind of higher frequency plane where we resonate on a level that makes us understand we are not separate from source. We are not separate from our soul. Death is only a transition to a new phase of being. Life is only temporary. And so due to this, we do not experience fear. It's like we are directly plugged into all that is. We are directly plugged in to the Creator and all of creation. We experience ourselves directly as part of creation, as part of the Creator, as a holographic aspect of the Creator. And so in this experience, we do not experience fear. We do not really experience emotions in the way you do. Not all this up and down drama. Oh, I love this person. Oh, I don't like that person. Oh, I need this. Oh, I don't like that. We tend to just resonate on a baseline frequency throughout the day. It doesn't fluctuate so much. There are times when we feel an uplifting frequency where we feel ourselves being guided in a new direction, a new chapter beginning. And there may be a slowing down in frequency as we come to the completion of a mission to guide us in the understanding that that mission is coming to an end in readiness for a new mission. But it's all kind of just a joyful, blissful, ecstatic resonance within the Creator of all that is. And so due to this, we do not suffer social anxiety. We do not have dramas in your world. We do not really have disagreements. We may have minor opposing views, although it is kind of unusual that individuals will have opposing views due to the idea that we are generally operating as a collective conscious, as a unified telepathic organism. And so socially, we are one consciousness, we are one being, we are connected and operate as a kind of hive mind in a sense. We operate as one being. We are working together as one consciousness towards one goal. We do not have opposing views that we may have, as we say, slightly different perspectives that we can add to the collective to come to a new understanding from our experiences we experience in our dream, in our journey, in our reality. But we do not have disagreements and arguments in the way that I'm standing over here and I'm standing over there and I refuse to give in and I refuse to give in. No, we come to a new understanding. We are never trying to hold on to disagreement in that way. So this would be the primary differences emotionally and socially. Okay, so I'm going to start answering super chats now, and so the super chats will get priority until the end of the call. I might try and answer some non-super chat questions when we wind up the channeling at the end myself, and I may channel a couple of non-super chats if there's time at the end. There's a lot coming in already though, so we may not have time. But if I can, I'll answer some of the non-super chat questions myself at the end and kind of tune in intuitively, rather than deep channeling as I am. So So what does humanity have to look forward over the coming years in terms of abundance, technology, and states of being, well-being? So, always remember, circumstances don't matter, only state of being matters. So, listen to our words. Circumstances don't matter. Circumstances don't create matter, don't create reality. Only state of being matters. Only state of being creates matter. Only state of being creates reality. And the reason we bring this up at this time is for the idea is that, one moment, is the idea at that moving forward, really from now to forward, we have stated before that you're going through a big expansion of consciousness this year and frequencies will begin to rise. 2026 in many ways marks the end of the processing of the negative emotions, the out of alignment beliefs. For many of you, particularly those of you that have been working on this for many years, you will notice through 2026 the negative beliefs, the pain, the struggle and the strife of previous years begin to drop away and give way to higher frequency vibrational states. And so as we move through 2026 and into 2027 particularly, there will be a spike in frequency, particularly around 12 months from now. There will be a rapid expansion of vibrational states of humanity, particularly, as we say, those of you that have been doing the work, so to speak, that have been rewiring negative beliefs, ironing out the creases and the cracks in the essence of your being. For those of you that have been doing the work, coming in to 2027, there will be a big expansion of consciousness into higher frequency realms, into higher frequency domains, into more expanded understanding of being, more of a deeper sense of connection to all that is, more of a resonance with your soul mission, your soul tribe, your soul family. There will be more of a shift, particularly going into 2027, a grouping of oversoul communities. You will naturally be drawn to your soul family. You will naturally be drawn to your soul essence, to your soul expression. And so as the frequencies rise, as you begin to purge those misaligned beliefs from your being, from your essence, moving through this year and into 2027, there will be a rapid expansion of consciousness. There will be more joy. There will be more bliss, if you wish to call it that. There will be more serenity, more creativity, more flow. Particularly, many of you will finally, after all these years, begin to let go of those old fear-based aspects of yourself, step into more of your calling, step into more of your mission, step into more of your flow, and become more aligned with higher self, with higher mind, with the source of the universe, and the natural expanding of creation in a more aligned, flow-based natural state. And so as this happens, there will be more joy, there will be more expansion, and as a reflection, as we say, only state of being matters. So this increased vibrational state of being, this more joyful state that will become more of the collective frequency, and specifically more for those of you that have been aligned with your mission, this will create a mirror. This will create a reflection in the idea of technological advancements, in the idea of us being able to introduce some ideas that will push your energy creation systems forward, that will allow the idea of pollution removing technologies, using plasma technology to clear up a lot of the pollution in your world, and even advanced healing technologies will be able to be reflected back to you as a mirror, as a reflection of your expanded consciousness. And of course, while you are always abundant beings, because you are always creating an abundant reality all the time, the idea is there really is no lack. It's just what you are creating an abundance of. You can create an abundance of lack, but you're always creating an abundance of something. If you look around you, you will see that your reality is full, is always full. You're always abundant. There is no space in your reality. There is no gap in your human experience. It is really impossible to have a lack of abundance. You can only have an abundance of lack. For the idea is that what you create is always abundant. If you look around you, there is no space in your reality where something does not exist. There is only abundance everywhere. It may be for some of you that you have created experiences where you lack financial resources, where you lack material objects necessary to carry you through the world, but this is really a full reality. It's a full experience of a lack of financial resources. It is still full of something, yes? Do you see where we are coming from? However, moving into 2027 and through the end of 2026, as we say, as a reflection of your increased joyful state, you will begin to reflect back to you more of those things that are a reflection of a joyful state. And for many of you, that would be increased financial resources, increased material objects, not necessarily overly materialistic, greedy, or things you do not need, but the idea of just attracting to you that which you need to move forward through your reality, in your mission, in your timeline, in your dream. All right, does this help? One moment. The channel is recalibrating. One moment. From your perspective, after physical death, is it possible in the non-physical or soul state to experience those alternate choices as vividly as physical reality? From your perspective, after physical death, is it possible in the non-physical or soul state to experience these alternate choices as vividly as physical reality? Yes, the ability to choose alternate experiences, if this is what you mean, from your perspective after physical death, is it possible in the non-physical or soul state to experience those alternate choices as vividly as physical reality? So the idea of the ability to choose suffering becomes much more difficult in the non-physical realm. This idea of having an earth-based experience where you can choose polarity, where you can choose to experience fear, suffering, separation, lack of abundance, lack, etc., is really impossible in the non-physical state. You can try if you wish, but you are just part of creation. You are not separate from source. The idea of separation, the idea of lack, doesn't really exist in the non-physical state. It is really germane to these kind of third density human physical experiences you have created for yourselves. So the idea of the ability to choose lack, to choose suffering, to choose disconnection, to choose lack of self-worth, to choose pain and suffering is harder, is much more difficult in the non-physical realm, for it no longer makes any sense, and there is really no need for it. It is not part of that experience. However, in the non-physical state, in the soul state, the ability to choose different experiences accelerates and expands rapidly, for you can literally create new reality, an entirely new world, an entirely new universe in some cases, just by shifting your vibration, just by shifting your perspective. So the ability to choose different experiences in the spirit realm, for you can reality to another experience, to another dream, to another journey, to another communication instantaneously, momentarily, in the non-physical state. We hope what you meant by your question. About my last linear past life. We will see what we can tune into. Well, first of all, understand that there is actually no such thing as a linear past life, for all exists here and now. Your soul is a multidimensional entity, and the idea of past lives doesn't really exist in that way. You just have many different experiences contained within your multidimensional essence in different realities. However, we will see if we can tune into a life that was experienced within your soul in a time previous to the current time frame you are in now, that you may kind of experience as a past life. However, understand that's not really the case. Really, past lives do not exist in that way, for when you move back into your soul, you become multidimensional in nature. However, we will see what we can sense into. One moment. We sense you had a life that you would term past life in your Pacific Islands region, connected to the cross-pollination of cultures between, and this is going back perhaps a bit, a cross-pollination between the cultures of ancient Egypt and the cultures of Lemuria. So you were living in the Pacific Islands, and you were part of a culture that was, in a sense, hybridizing, in a sense, blending together the wisdom of what you may call Mu and Atlantis, Lemuria and Atlantis. The idea is that there was a culture in your Pacific region known as Mu, known as Lemuria, and there was a culture in your Atlantic region known as Atlantis. And the idea is that the Atlantean culture was, in a sense, very strongly connected to your ancient Egyptian culture, and the idea of physical manifestation, the idea of creation, the idea of a more outward experience and reality, expansion of consciousness through doing, through experiencing, through creating, through manifesting. And the idea is that in your Pacific region, there was the culture of Mu, of Lemuria, and they didn't necessarily get on all that well all the time. Though moving forward in coming towards more contemporary times, more closer to this current life, there was a blending of the civilizations in your Pacific Islands region. And so the idea of the wisdom of Atlantis that was passed down through Thoth into ancient Egypt was blended with the wisdom of Lemuria that was passed down into what is now known as your Hindu religion. The Hindu deities were more of the Lemurian side. And so the idea is that the Lemurian path was the inward path, was the path of meditation, was the path of introspection, was the path of contemplation, and the Atlantean path was the path of creation, the outward path, the path of manifestation. However, in these current days, these paths have become blended, and there was a life you had in the Pacific Islands region that was connected to the idea of the blending of these religions, creating a new third way, a balance of manifestation and contemplation. We hope this helps. One moment. The channel needs to recalibrate, re-energize, and re-oxygenate. One moment. So, Year of the Fire Horse. What ET race am I most strongly connected to? Thanks. One moment. There are more than one, however, one that comes forth at this time is your connection to the Orion system, the Orion Nebula, the Orion Wars, in a sense. For the idea is that many years ago in time, as you measure it, there was a war between the darkness and the light in the Orion system. There were beings that, from a soul perspective, chose to take on what would be called a negative incarnation. For many of you have, from time to time within your soul, taken on the idea of a what you would term a negative polarity, a service to self incarnation, for the idea of growth, for the idea of supporting the expansion of creation, for the darkness could not exist without the light, and the light could not exist without the darkness. So please do not judge. You have all had experiences, certainly as yourself, and in the essence of the creator. The dark polarity must exist for the light polarity to exist. So many of you have taken on incarnations in the dark polarity to assist the expansion of creation, in service to creation. And so it was not this we are talking to. We sense you are on the side of the light, the positive polarity in this Orion incarnation. However, there were some mistakes made in this time. The idea of fire, the idea of being connected to the fire horse, the symbol of fire in your reality, is the idea that you made the mistake. This is the journey, the lesson to be garnered from the Orion system. The mistake of fighting fire with fire. For fighting fire with fire only creates a more fierce fire. And so the idea of the Orion Wars escalating out of control. And on a side note, the Orion Wars were the inspiration for your Star Wars movie series. Your George Lucas was unconsciously, subconsciously tapping into, or through a collective story, a collective dream, the idea that is imprinted within your souls, many of your souls, of the idea of the Orion Wars, and the idea that the battle between the star systems of Rigel and Betelgeuse, and Rigel, the idea of the Rigel system, the blue-white light of the Rigel system within the Orion constellation symbolizes the idea of the light, and there were planetary systems oriented around the Rigel star, of which you resided upon one. And the idea is, on the opposite side of the belt of Orion, the idea of the planet of Betelgeuse was the planet, the red fire star of Betelgeuse was the planet where there were negatively, was the star system, was the star where there were planets oriented around it that held beings of the negative polarity. And so the battle raged for many eons around Orion's belt in the middle of the two. It is the symbolic archetypal representation of positive and negative forces. And so these Orion Wars contained much fighting, much hatred, much anger. And so the story is the lesson to be garnered, the lesson to be learnt from these Orion Wars was the idea of learning not to fight fire with fire, not being dragged into those dark games, and learning to fight fire with light, learning to fight fire with water, learning to fight fire with love. So we sense you had a incarnation in what we may call the resistance, the brotherhood that was in resistance to the negative polarity beings in the Orion system. However, many of you got sucked into the idea of fighting them with fire, fighting them with violence, using weapons against them, which created a kind of implosion and deterioration of even planets in both systems, and a outcome that was not really favorable for either side in this experience. And so the message that can be garnered from this is learning to fight fire with love, learning to fight fire with light, not getting sucked into the dark games, into the dark experiences, but learning to always come from a place of unconditional love and unconditional light in your reality. We hope this helps. So, what is the difference between the Yahyel versus Sasani beings? So, the Sasani beings is the race that your Bashar comes from. In a sense, they are more expanded, more higher frequency, more spiritually oriented, more resonant with higher domains of reality. They were one of the later created races that were more advanced. The Yahyel were one of the first hybrid races produced from the hybridization program of your Zeta Reticulum civilization and your human beings. And so the Yahyel are more like you. We are more like you. We are a little bit more, while we do look a little strange in many ways, we are able to relate to you a little better, and you should find us a little easier to relate to. We are the Shalanaya. We are those who come first. And so, in a sense, the Shashani, Shakani are more high frequency, less physical, more interdimensional. We are slightly more physical, more like you, more, in a sense, mundane, in a way, more connected to more physical experiences. And so the idea is we are not quite so high frequency. We will not blow your minds quite so much as interaction with the Sasani, Shikani beings would do. And thus, this is why we are the Shalanaya. We are those who come first, because we are likely to be able to be more relatable to your civilization. In a sense, the Sasani, the Shikani are the overseers, the guides of first contact, those who are overseeing the project, overseeing the agenda, overseeing the idea of open contact, whereas we are the ground crew. We are the ones that are going to come down and do the work. So you could say that the Yahyel are the ground force, and the Shashani, the Shikani are the overseers, the guardians, the overlords that are guiding this process. We hope this helps. Explain the hybridization program. Explain the hybridization program that I understand I am part of. Am I a hybrid alien myself, tree, or do I just have alien hybrid children? Love to you. On a soul level, you are, in a sense, a hybrid. You have many aspects of your soul connected to extraterrestrial civilizations. Energetically, you could say you're kind of hybrid because you contain frequencies that are more germane to higher dimensions, more germane to extraterrestrial realms. However, as a human being, your physical body is more human. you are not hybridized in this way. You are not half Zeta, half human. Understand all humans going back, and specifically yourself, contain Pleiadian, contain some of you Arcturian, Syrian DNA in your being, and some of you contain Anunnaki DNA in your being. So the idea is that you are all hybrids on some level. You are seeded from the stars. But we are talking going back hundreds of thousands of years when the extraterrestrial DNA was interjected with your hominid species. So the idea is, yes, you are a hybrid being, and yes, you contain slightly more Syrian, Pleiadian DNA than other beings in your reality, but it is only a small amount, and it is not the idea that you are you are a product of the Zeta Gray, Zeta Reticulum human hybridization program of the last century. And so the idea is, do you have hybrid children yourselves? Have you been involved in the idea of the hybridization program? And so the idea is, yes, of course, this is why you are asking this question. You know, in the core of your being, we know in the essence of your being, and we sense you have 5 hybrid children that are a mixture of your DNA, Zeta DNA, and also DNA of other humans. For understand, it was not a direct one Zeta Gray, one Earth human having a baby. It was a genetic modification program. And very often while there is a predominant amount of DNA taken from one human mother and one Zeta father, for example, so that the children can have the idea and the experience of a mother and father, that there is also other human and other Zeta DNA interjected into the children. All right, we hope this answers your question. So Cassia Jones asks, can I please have a message from my hybrid child, Anuan? When will we meet in waking life? Thank you. One moment. One moment. We will be back soon. One moment. Mommy, hello. We feel you. We sense you. Mommy, hello. We love you. I love you. We are coming in the trees, in your forest, either the end of this year or the next. If you are ready, when you are ready, remember, we have already met. Remember the dreams. Remember, we will come again soon. Alright, remember the heart symbol, a blue heart in your water. A blue heart in water. When you see a blue heart in water, we are there. Goodbye, we love you. We will meet again. Alright. Bye-bye. Why Team Swaru from Taijeta stopped communicating with channel name Space Agency What's the Real Truth? So, while there was some truth to this communication, while these are a real collective, there was some distortion in the communication, and it was not being facilitated 100% correctly and authentically. So it has stopped for now. This is all for now. We shall share. How do Tartaria got erased despite being advanced? One moment. All things have a beginning and an end, yes? Even the most advanced civilizations, even the most advanced races come to an end. All things experienced in physical reality have a beginning and an end. It is only the self. It is only the creator. It is only you in the deepest essence of your being, you as source, that are eternal. All experience in reality is but a dream passing before your consciousness. And so this is the point of the earth space existence, to have experiences, to learn from them, for them to end and to begin a new experience. Yes, there could be nothing new if things went on forever. So even the most beautiful and wonderful things, even the most advanced civilizations, come to end at some point. It is a natural cycle. It was a choice. For while from a physical perspective, you may feel that you want to keep things going, keep things expanding, when things good, keep it going. From a higher perspective, that's kind of the point where it's time to finish, for you have completed. If you reach a state where you feel you have found inner peace, you have found economic and material stability, you have all your need, then what else is there left to do? Create something new. And so all things must come to an end for new experiences to begin. From your human perspective, you believe that the goal of life is to create a perfect reality where you are happy and joyful and everything is advanced technology and you have all you need. And so you should advance and prosper. But from a higher perspective, this is kind of where it gets dull and gets boring for what to do when you have created everything you need to create. What next? Well, create a scenario where it all falls to pieces so you can start anew. It was orchestrated, it was ordained from above, then a new cycle would begin. All right? May the love and the light of the infinite creator be with you too, Kamek 3, and understand that it always is. The love and the light of the infinite creator is always within us, and it is always within you. It is just about tuning your frequency to a state where you can receive this mirror in your reality. Thank you for your loving wishes. One moment, the channel is recalibrating. He has requested that you hit the like button while he is recalibrating. One moment. The channel has also requested that you post no more super chat questions as the session is coming to an end. He will answer some of your non-super chat questions himself after the consciousness resumes with his physical posture. One moment. Please, no more super chats for today. Thank you. Greetings. Can you share from Mama Bucket VFX? Greetings. Or is it Mama Bouquet TVFX? Greetings. Can you share my current life lesson, theme, or path, and what mistakes to be aware of to stop repeating it? Love and light. Greetings, can you share my current life lesson, theme, or path, and what mistakes to be aware of to stop repeating it? All right, so we sense a big part of your path is contact with the hybrid children, with us, even potentially with us. For now, we sense your path is to connect with us on the ships, also with the hybrid children who are now mostly somewhat grown up in their 20s and 30s and even older. And so to connect in the dream space, connect in the eternal realm of the God Creator Self, in interdimensional, non-physical spaces, in the dream space, perhaps through meditation,
and even through channeling, if you are called to garner wisdom from these experiences and return it to humanity. Do you feel a resonance with art, the idea of drawing, painting, graphic design? We sense a part of your path is connected to the idea and perhaps light language through symbols. We connect into the idea that your path is connected to the idea of sharing these frequencies, sharing these experiences, your experience in the dream state. Watch your dreams over the coming months ahead. Your dreams will accelerate, will expand, will become different as we move towards open contact, particularly through your winter solstice period of the end of this year and into 2027. There will be experiences in the dream realm, specifically where you will have memories and visions that you will be able to, if called to do so, translate into art, drawing, perhaps even dance. Use these experiences in dance. Do you feel drawn to dancing? Perhaps art, creativity, even music, expressing these experiences you experience on the ships through the idea of the arts, specifically the idea of drawing. We sense, do you feel drawn to art? Do you feel drawn to drawing, to creativity in this way? And so do not judge yourself. Do not judge your ability to create works of fine art. Art has nothing to do with the technical ability to put pen or paint to paper. It is to do with the ability to translate frequency, to translate experience, to translate energy and emotion to the page. You may notice that some of your most famous artists in your reality weren't necessarily that technically gifted, but they had the ability to transmit emotion, transmit feeling, transmit thought, frequency, and even higher dimensional realities through the media they were akin with. So do not judge yourself on what you create in your reality. And do not judge yourself at all, ideally, but if you do, judge yourself by your ability to translate what you are feeling into media, into artistic form in your world. We hope this helps. Alright, so the channel assures us that we have come to the end of the super chat questions, and he will now regain control of his physical vehicle fully and begin to answer some of your questions from his own perspective, whilst simultaneously, intuitively tuning in to our essence for a little bit of background guidance. We love you eternally, Earth humans. We are you. In your core of your being, we are not separate from you. There is no separation in creation. We are merely mirrors of your expanding consciousness, reflecting back the idea of expansion, the idea of spiritual growth, the idea of journeying into higher dimensions of reality, which all of you on Earth are doing at this time to varying degrees. And so we are merely mirrors of your own expanding consciousness. We are merely mirrors of your journey into the infinite dream of dreams, of the creator of all that is. For you are eternal beings in a journey through creation, and you are expanding into a new leg of your journey, a new leg of your dream, a new understanding of what it means to be a human, a true human. Homo Galacticus is evolving, is birthing in your reality, and you are at the cutting edge of this reality,
of this dream, of this new dream. So remember, we are just you are just us, and we are all one in the infinite creator's dream of all that is. We shall see you in another now, Earth humans. Good day. Hey everyone, I'm back. So I'm just going to drink some water, and I feel a little fatigued, but I will try and answer some questions. A little thirsty as well. Okay, so there's no way I'm going to get through all these questions today. It looks like there's hundreds, so but I'll try and ask a few. I'll start right. I guess there's no point in starting at the beginning because some of those people might have logged off. So I'll Jonathan, you should have way more than 5,000 subscribers and 20 live stream viewers because these channelings are so awesome. I wish you 5,000 live viewers and 100,000 subs next year. You never know. It's because it's like very, very kind of niche, you know. like not everyone's into this stuff. Even the biggest, the most famous channelers don't have 100,000 subs, I don't think. Some of them have quite big, but generally ET channelers, I guess Daryl's the biggest one. I don't think he even has 100,000 subs. But he did get his channel deleted and have to restart again. So I was just trying to find someone who's asking a question who... Okay. I see $5 hug asks, we are on Year of the Firehorse 2026. What ET race am I most strongly connected to? Thanks. Oh no, she's just I think that was someone else's question. Okay, I think it's mostly kind of the same people. Oh, here's Jonathan. What can you tell us about the Exopolitics conference you went to in 2011? Well, that's quite synchronous. You asked that actually, because I just got the book. I almost bought it in here. I should have bought it in here. The book that I got from one of the people. One of the talkers, one of the speakers at that conference, a guy called Stephen Jones, he wrote a book called An Invitation to the Dance. And I just recently found my signed copy, and I'm just going to start reading it again. I started having a look through it because he was an abductee, if we call him that, I think, or experiencer. And he wrote a book called An Invitation to the Dance about his abduction experiences, if we can call it that. And I was literally going to bring it out here. So it was the best conference I've ever been to, that Exopolitics in 2011. It was, who was there? It had like Richard Dolan and Stephen Bassett and Nick Pope.
some well-known traditional ufologists. But more interesting, what you guys might find more interesting, and what I found more interesting, was the experiences. There was this guy called Stephen Jones who wrote this book, and there was also a lady called, I can't quite remember her name, but it was a lady that they were both experiences of the extraterrestrial abduction phenomena. And so I've been thinking about making a video about extraterrestrial abduction. So it's connected to this question about Exopolitics, the conference in 2011, where I met two experiences that had been experiences of this kind of alien abduction experience. And the lady was, she was on Baywatch. She was one of the staff on Baywatch, and she was the TV series. And what was her name? I can't quite remember her name now, but she drew this book, and I will make a video about this. And I can't remember her name, so I won't talk about her. But this other guy, Stephen Jones, they basically, because the idea of extraterrestrial abduction is that and there are like thousands of cases. I was just reading John Mack, a Harvard University professor who studied the idea of alien abduction. He interviewed over 200 abductees, if we call them that, and I'll explain what was going on in the abductions in a minute. And there was this other guy called Bud Hopkins, was a big researcher. I'm going to make more videos on this because it's a fascinating topic, and it's connected to the Yahyel, because the Yahyel are a hybrid species as a result of the Zeta Reticuli of this abduction program. Bashar calls it temporary detainment. So basically the story goes like this, according to Bashar. The Zeta Greys, and these are the extraterrestrials with the big black eyes and the big heads and like the small mouths and the little spindly grey bodies, and that come around in the flying saucers and abduct people by floating through the roof. And this is the hybridization program that the Yahyel come from. So I know this is kind of a bit spooky and a bit scary, and people are going to be like, "Whoa, that's well negative." Well, it kind of is a bit negative, and it kind of is a bit scary. But the story is that from a higher perspective, we agreed this because Earth is going through because we've nearly destroyed our planet. This is one of the messages that all the ETs have been giving to humanity for many years, that we're on the verge of destroying our planet, literally through pollution. Basically, we're seriously damaging our planet, regardless of whether you believe in climate change or not. Like the pollution is damaging the oceans and the plant life and the forests and the animals, and multiple species are dying off. So this is one of the main message of the ETs. And and this is why from a higher perspective, from a soul level, we agreed that the Greys would come and start doing this abduction, so that we would start to wake up. It would start to wake the humans up. So while the humans that went through this abduction experience, it is terrifying for them. We did orchestrate this from a soul level, from a higher perspective, so that we would start to wake up. And this is an example. This book by this guy called Stephen Jones, who was an abductee who I met. I was just saying, I've got a signed copy of his book, who I met at this Exopolitics Leeds in the UK conference in 2011. He kind of went through this abduction experience, and he would the stories in the book of there was one time when he basically got abducted, the Zeta Greys, and I'll tell you more about what's exactly going on with the story of the Zeta Greys in a minute. They basically abducted him because what they do is they fly over your house, and they literally can somehow take you into an interdimensional state where they can float you through the roof of the house or through the window. And there's all these stories of the abductees, and there's thousands, literally hundreds and thousands of people that all tell the same story. The beings all look the same, the Zeta Greys, and they get floated through the house, and they take you on the ships. And one of the stories he told was that hit on the ship when he got abducted, he remembered being abducted, and his friend was also getting abducted that lived over the other side of town, and when they dropped him off at his friend's house, like, and he was only a kid, and his friend's mum was like, "What on earth are you doing here?" So yeah, so the idea of the abductions, and I can't remember the other name of the other lady, but basically the story of what's happening with the extraterrestrial abduction phenomenon is that the Zeta Greys are parallel reality Earth humans. They're actually us from a parallel reality timeline, and they were very telepathic, but also they were very technologically advanced. I sometimes call it the Elon Musk timeline, because he's so into technology and doesn't really believe in spirituality. Though that's changing now. I did hear him talk about Elon Musk, how I think his spiritual views have changed as he grows in consciousness. So he's not. He said how his favorite person in creation is the creator. So maybe Elon Musk is even coming out the Elon Musk timeline. The idea of technological advancement, a disregard for spiritual growth, and so this is the path the Zeta Greys went on. They became extremely technologically advanced and very telepathic, but due to only focusing on technological advancement, they bred out emotion from their civilization. And this caused them to mutate and be unable to reproduce. I think before that they started to destroy their planet, and they had to go underground and live underground. And they had these big black eyes. The stories in our reality of the ant people that used to live underground, and there's lots of underground cities like from the past. So I don't know if this is somehow connected, but the Zeta Greys, they destroyed. They become extremely technologically advanced. They bred out emotion from their civilization. They started to they basically destroyed their planet, and this is their warning that if we continue down the path we're going, not disregarding our planet and just creating pollution and not looking after our planet, we're going to do the same. And they had to go underground, and they mutated to the point where they could no longer reproduce, and they grew these big black eyes so they could see underground. This is why they have those big black eyes, and they could no longer reproduce. They could no longer create progeny, like children, offspring. So they used their advanced technology to explore through the universe and parallel timelines. Their ships, those flying saucers, can shift through timelines and parallel realities, looking for humans versions of themselves that could still reproduce and were still emotional. And they found us. And this is why they used us. They set up base in the Zeta Reticuli star system, and this is why they're called the Zeta Reticuli, as I understand it. They're not actually from there; they're from a parallel timeline, but they set up base there. And if you look at the Barney and Betty Hill abduction story, she drew the star map of this, and from there they started coming to Earth and abducting us, and extracting semen and eggs and genetic material so they could create a hybrid species that I believe, Bashar says, there's 5 hybrid species. I once connected with one I call them the Playel. I think Bashar called them the Yahyel. They came through as the Playel to me because they're very playful. And maybe we try and channel them next time. The Yahyel. They were very very healthy beings. That's what I got from the Yahyel. Very, very vibrant and healthy. They were, and so the hybrid species like the Yahyel, the Sasani or Shakani, their other name, and the Yahyel. They're all from the future. Like Tahini of the Yahyel, he's actually from 1,000 years in the future or something. He comes through as me. Bashar says he's from 3,000 years in the future. So these were the hybrid children from the abduction program from the future that came back to save us. not to save us, but to help us and give the information to move forward through reality and stop our planet from the imminent destruction that could possibly happen if we don't change. So I think I'm going to call it a day there, guys, because I'm feeling quite tired, and I just see if there's like maybe one or two more questions I can answer. Hi, Jonathan. What are the Yahyel's top recommendations for making conscious contact and for attracting money and prosperity? So I would say one that answers like all those questions is follow your excitement and act on your synchronicity. When you're following your excitement, your passion, your joy, like following the path of any positive energy, excitement doesn't have to be like, yeah, it can be like a serene peace or a deep meditation. Any positive excitement points to any positive energy, so it can be like a serenely peaceful state also. But when you're following that path of your excitement, your joy, your bliss, your serene peace or whatever, moment to moment, that's your higher self guiding you kind of through the path of least resistance through your reality to attract to you everything you desire in your reality, and you'll experience increased synchronicity. The idea of coincidences, the idea of the person you need to see just appearing, or a book falling off the shelf, or the video you need to see on YouTube just coming up exactly as you need to see it, so when you're following your excitement, it'll increase synchronicity, and you'll be guided to and if it's part of your path and you've kind of made an agreement on a soul level and it feels exciting, it's part of your life purpose to make conscious contact with the ETs, like following your excitement and acting on the synchronicities. If a synchronicity comes up, if a person you were just thinking about just appears, talk to them. If a book suddenly kind of pops out on a shelf in the library, draw it out. If a video of what you were thinking about like appears on YouTube, watch the video. And when you act on these synchronicities and follow your excitement, you will be guided towards the place you need to be to make contact with the ETs, and you will attract the abundance and the prosperity necessary to support you on this path. So this is kind of, I guess, and also like be yourself, and like which is following your excitement is being yourself. So so follow your excitement and follow the synchronicity path as well. So I had a dream some time ago standing on transparent platform way above Earth, like we 100 km, and standing next to me was blue skin human ET. He had regular eyes but much bigger cranium head. Yeah, this is a classic contact dream. I'm glad you brought this up, because I used to talk about this quite a bit. Like I've had similar dreams myself. I had a dream some time ago standing on a transparent platform way above Earth. Like it says we 100 km, maybe it's 100 km, but like 100 km. And standing next to me was blue skin human ET. He had regular eyes but much bigger cranium head. Yeah, so this is like a classic ET contact dream. Sometimes you'll have dreams. I've had dreams that I've been like stood on the top of a skyscraper, or like a circular room at the top of a column in space. We don't often, what we remember is not exactly what happens, and you like have a dream of being in a very tall room. Or sometimes we have a dream of like being at a party or in a cafe where there's lots of beings and some of them look kind of strange. And yes, so that's kind of like a classic contact dream. I'd say you were definitely connecting with real beings in that dream there. And blue skin human stroke ET, he had regular eyes but much bigger cranium and head. I know I've got a friend who connects with a being that very similar to this that he thought was Yahyel. I'm not sure if the Yahyel have blue skin. I think the blue skin beings are often connected to the Syrians and the Arcturians, but they could be like a hybrid version. And so The blue skin, incidentally, was is I believe it's to do with copper-based blood. Um, like, because humans have iron. The reason we have red blood is because we have iron in our blood, but there's also animals on planet Earth that have a copper-based blood. Like, I think octopus have blue blood, like snails have blue blood, some like crustaceans under the sea. There's certain creatures on Earth that have a copper-based blood that makes their blood blue. And so apparently the beings of Atlantis had blue blood, and it's because they had copper-based blood. I think the Anunnaki might have had blue blood, and there's a saying in the UK that the rich people have blue blood, and I don't know if it's connected to that or not. But so it could have been Arcturian, it could have been a Syrian being, it could have been someone from Atlantis, possibly. And I believe it's connected to this copper-based blood. But yeah, a dream about being really high up in the sky, and even if you don't remember you being on a ship, it's definitely a kind of contact dream. Yeah, if you can hit like and subscribe, please, guys, if you like this. I had a dream a few days ago to buy silver. I asked before sleep how I can afford to buy my own home. Yeah, I'm sure silver will probably go up more. It's recently doubled in price over the last couple of months, so it's a shame you didn't have the dream like 3 months ago. So let's see if we can find I think we kind of answered most of the recent questions. Yeah, thank you for joining, everyone. We're just coming to the end of the chat. $5 Sug says at Esther Barry 3343. Jonathan Trinity Martin gives channeling classes I can highly recommend. Yeah, thank you, $5. I think you did one with me, didn't you? Yeah, we've got a new channeling class starting March 7th, guys. You can go to my website, jonathantrinity.com, JONATHANTRINITY.com, and you can sign up for the channeling class there. So yeah, Esther Barry, if you'd like to join our channeling class, I see your message now. How can I personally channel the Yahyel? Yeah, we've got the new channeling class starting March the 7th. It'd be great to see some of you guys and girls and ladies and men and there. So you can check it out on my website. There should be a link in the description somewhere to my website. It's on the homepage. You should see it. And yeah, I also have a coaching program, a one-to-one coaching program. You can see on my website, jonathantrinity.com. So check out the website. There should be a link below. I think we've answered kind of most of the questions. Was perspective of reality shifts like a movie projector, shifting through your eye as the lens. It can be done in meditation now, by location or astral projection. Yeah, I think I'm running out of energy. Sounds like a deep question. I don't even know if I've got the energy left to talk about that. I think you were just making a comment anyway, $5 rather than the question. Perspective of reality shifts like a movie projector, shifting through your eye as the lens. It can be done in meditation now, by location or... Yeah, okay, guys, I think we're going to call it a day. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Hi, I believe I did channel a being for the first time in my life on the 18th of Feb, 15th of Feb 26. Can you tell me if it was real and who I was channeling? And will it ever happen again? You really need to trust in yourself. If you feel like you're channeling, I'm sure you are. Like, it doesn't. If it was the first time, it doesn't necessarily mean that everything you felt was like exactly 100% correct as to what they were transmitting. But just trust it's a beginning, and learn to connect in with that energy. You can kind of notice an energy shift if your frequency feels higher, and the kind of frequency that comes through is different. And also, if the information is good, did the information sound like a perspective that you wouldn't necessarily come up, with yourself through your logical thought process? These are the kind of ways when I'm teaching my channeling course starting March the 7th. Check out the link below. When I'm teaching channeling, this question comes a lot, like, how do I know if I'm channeling? How do I know if it's real or just my mind? And the two main ways I tell to recognize that: one, judge it by the information, and ultimately, if the information's good and the information is useful and something you can use, really that's more important than where it's coming from. Maybe it's coming from your subconscious, maybe it's coming from an archetypal energy, an archetypal realm of your expanded consciousness, maybe it's coming from your higher self, maybe it's coming from an ET. Ultimately, if the information is good and it's coming on in a kind of level that you wouldn't normally get through, like, your normal linear thinking, that's the most important thing, that the information is good and the information can help you. But that's also a sign, like, if the information is good and it's kind of got a level of clarity that you perhaps wouldn't normally get through your own thoughts, that's a good sign that you are channeling. Also, the energy feels different. Did you feel an energy shift? Did you feel like a little bit uplifted? You normally feel like kind of uplifted, kind of more energized, like there's strong energy coming through, or you feel like more joyful, like higher frequency, and perhaps if you're speaking vocally, sometimes the tone of your voice will change, like mine does. That's a good way to know if you're channeling or not. And so these are the two main pointers for knowing if you are channeling. I would say you probably are. If you feel like you're channeling, you probably are channeling. It doesn't mean you like 100% solid connection. To learn to connect properly, can take a lifetime. They say even the best channelers in the world are only 95% correct. And so I always say, like, learning to channel and beginning channeling is like something we can all do, and something, like, to quote Dowlanka, something we all do from time to time. Like, we're in the flow state, like drawing or doing music, art, dance, creativity, and we're kind of in the flow, and we forget the passage of time, and that's a sign we're in the channeling state, and we all do it from time to time. And so we all have the ability to connect in with, like, higher aspects of ourselves and interdimensional beings, and bring through wisdom and information. It's actually quite easy, and like 80 to 90% of people who do my courses, maybe 85% of people who do the courses, always channel within the course. Check out the link starting March the 7th, and on my website, but you're not going to channel like perfectly 100% clear. I say it's like channeling is easy, but to master channeling takes a lifetime. So just getting one word or one image or one inspiration or one insight that can guide you in your life, it's a beginning. It's like anything that you learn. If you learn to play the piano or the violin or be an artist, you don't when you're an artist, you don't draw a masterpiece, $1 million masterpiece, the first picture you ever draw, and you're not like when you learn to play the piano, you're not like a concert pianist on your first attempt, are you? But it's like anyone can play the piano, but like just quite easily, and you go ding 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 ding, but it tends not to sound perfect on the first time. And it's the same with channeling. Learning to channel is actually quite easy, but mastering channeling takes a lifetime. So just trust it, and the more you trust and you believe, the biggest block to entering the channeling state is belief. Like I say, about 85% of the people who do my courses learn to channel either very well, or just begin to get words and an intuition or insights and downloads within the 4-week course. The ones that don't are nearly always the ones that have beliefs that block it. A belief that you can't do it, or it's not real, or you're not good enough, or you're not ready, or you're not high frequency enough, or you've still got stuff to work through, or why would an ET not want to work with me? It's always a negative belief that blocks them from entering the channeling state. So this is another thing we cover in depth in the channeling course, like working through negative beliefs and how to change your beliefs, because it's always a negative belief that blocks people from entering the channeling state. And there was one guy that did a channeling course with me, and he said from the start of the course, I know I won't be able to do it. And I'm like, this one's going to be a tough cookie. And he did through the whole course. He was like, I know I'm not going to be able to channel. And he didn't. He wasn't able to channel. Of course he's not. Of course he wasn't able to, because our beliefs create our reality. This is one of the most fundamental tenets of what the Yahyel explained, that our beliefs create our reality. So if you believe you're not able to channel, you won't be able to channel. But if you believe you are able to channel, you will be able to channel. So and also you'll get those doubting voices coming up during the channeling, and you can just kind of put them away, just ignore them. Like if a voice comes up and says, I'm not sure if this is real channeling or not, just ignore it and just let the information flow. Whether it's written channeling or light language, or even because through the channeling state, you're accessing the flow state, which is, it was Einstein that said that his greatest breakthroughs didn't come from logical linear thinking. They came from the spaces between thoughts. And many of the world's top scientists have said the same thing. I remember the person who invented the sewing machine, he'd done loads of iterations trying to get this sewing machine to work, and he just couldn't get it to work. And then one night he had a dream that he was being chased by like Zulus or African warriors, or so, chased by tribe warriors with spears, and the spears had holes in the tip of the spear. And he woke up and he's like, that's it, the hole needs to be in the tip of the needle, not in the end of the needle. Because when you're normally sewing with a needle and thread, the eye of the needle is at the back end of the needle with a normal needle, isn't it? But in a sewing machine, it's actually in the eye of the needle is in the point, is in the tip, isn't it? And so the person that created the sewing machine got a download in a dream. So he was in a dream, but it's essentially channeled it. It's his higher self, his soul has given him the answer in the dream. And that's how the sewing machine was created. And so many scientists say they had their greatest breakthroughs in the space between thoughts. And this is because they're channeling the answer. The answers come from the higher self, or their soul, or source, or God, or from a guide, or from an ET, or Terence McKenna created a computer program called Time Wave Zero that predicted the shift in 2012, and he was shown how to create that program by an ET in a hallucinogenic trip. And so you can so the channeling state can assist you in it's the flow state. It can assist you in sport. It's that state where you don't notice the passage of time. You're just in the flow, loving what you're doing. If you're painting a picture or singing a song, or when an actor is completely lost in the part, it's there in the channeling state. So you can use channeling to accelerate, enhance your life in many ways, even if you're not, and we teach this in the course, even if you just don't want to, we nearly lost connection then. Even are we still there, guys? Hello. Even if you don't just want to channel to channel your higher self, or your spirit guides, or the nature spirits, or source, or the ETs, if you you can use channeling to like access the flow state, to enhance sport, to get downloads if you're a scientist, to specifically, definitely it's very good for like art, for creativity, for like dance, music it's amazing for, and acting, any of these like creative like the arts. Basically it's channeling is amazing for that, because you can like get into and many of the best artists, musicians, actors, sports people, they talk about how they get into this flow state where they're not even thinking and it's just happening by itself. That's the channeling state. So if you want to learn to channel, check out my March 7th starting Learn to Channel course. The link's down here below somewhere. So thank you, everyone. Really gonna have to go now. It's 2 hours, so time goes so fast when we're doing these, particularly when I'm in the channeling state. I was like starting to feel tired, and I thought, oh no, I've not been doing it long. And then it was like 1 hour 16. I was like, oh, an hour's gone. No wonder I'm feeling tired. Yes, I felt like silent. Oh, he's giving a bit of feedback here. So who is it? Sikek Bokek Kalabek. Sounds like an African name. Talk about African warriors. Or an ET name. Yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. And he says, yes, I felt like silenced if I was to talk. I wanted to talk. Thank you for taking time and effort to answer. Yeah, you're welcome. So thank you, everyone. So we're going to finish the call now. So same time next week, 4:30 p.m. UK time, 5:30 p.m. Central European time. I think that'd be 11:30 a.m. Eastern US time. And I think that'd make it 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. And we should still be all right, because I don't think the clocks are changing quite yet, because they don't change till March, because it staggers it a bit and confuses things majorly. I need to remember that for the March 7th channeling course. I think they don't change till later. Like New York, if it still changes it like mid-month, and we change it at the end of the month. So it's a completely nightmare locating time zones in March. So thank you, everyone, and I'll see you same time next week. And check out the link to my website, jonathantrinity.com. There should be a link in the comments for my channeling course starting March 7th, my one-to-one coaching program if you want to work with me one-to-one, and private channeling sessions. Peace, love, light, and Shivai. I shall see you all in another now. Bye-bye. Hit like and subscribe. Bye-bye.